All right, friends, here it is. Top 5 budget decks of the new format post crossover breakers. As you guys know, budget is my personal favorite because I believe that anyone should be able to play this game at a top tier level no matter how much money that you have in your wallet. But let's go ahead and just jump into number 5. You guys are going to think I'm crazy, but again, hear me out. I'm putting Snake Eyes here. Now, I mean pure Snake Eyes, or even Fire King Snake Eyes. Not talking about anything with Fiendsmith or anything with Asmania. I'm talking strict Snake Eyes / Fire King Snake Eyes. Mainly because everything that was reprinted in the Bonanza set that was for this deck is now a whole lot cheaper than what it was. Wanted, the Witch, Bonfire, it's all so much cheaper. Even Bountiful Princess, which is 20 cents. I think the most expensive one is the Witch, but she's only $7. You know, which you could, if you stretch your budget a little far, you won't break your bank. As well as SP Little Knight getting reprinted too. You know, Bonanza set was what this deck really needed in order to become a budget deck. But the reason why it's not higher on this list is because you will still probably have to, if you really want this deck to do its best, you will have to shell out a good amount of bucks for some other staples that were reprinted in the set. Like, for instance, if you wanted to use the Salamangreat Phoenix, the Link 4, that's going to set you back quite a bit because if I remember correctly, it's like 40 to $50 a copy right now. But you have the option to use the Whale instead. You know, there's still options out there. But that's the reason why it's only number 5, because it's still going to, you know, push your budget a little bit. But as far as what it was, it's definitely a lot more feasible. Now, number 4, I'm putting Runic here, more specifically with Runic Stun, because the entire deck core of Runic is insanely cheap. The only things that are expensive are going to be the Runic Tips and the Hugins, but even then they're just a couple bucks per copy. Everything else in the deck is $1 or lower, let's be honest. As well as, you know, Floodgates that you want to add in, which are penny stonks, as well as, you know, any monsters, Amano Iwado, Inspector Border, Majesty's Fiend, all under $1 basically with all the reprints that they've had. And if you want to run in the extra deck, you can literally just play all Runic monsters, which are all insanely cheap, as well as maybe a Baguska or even a SP Little Knight, which just got reprinted in Bonanza set. But if you want a good stun strategy that can keep up with the meta, but also won't break your bank, Runic is definitely for you. Now, speaking of a stun strategy, I'm putting anti-meta here. The reason why I'm putting anti-meta as number 3 is because the deck, or decks, you should say, has so much utility and versatility to go about. You can run so many different floodgates. You can run Jougins, you can run Fossil Dinos, you can run Spectre Borders, you can run turn 2 going builds, you can run first turn going builds, you can run ones that meet in the middle. There are so many different strategies that you can facilitate with this deck. Now, the caveat with this is that not a lot of the going second builds necessarily pays off. And if you want to run a going first deck, you have to win the dice roll. Otherwise, you are going to be in a massive uphill battle. Take it from me, I've been running anti-meta for several years. I'm talking like 6-7 years plus. And the one thing that I can definitely tell you is that it is never a foolproof strategy. You are going to win a lot of games, but you're also going to lose so many others. And as long as you are able to meet that uphill battle, you can prevail. You just got to make sure that you do the right plays, understand what you're going up against, and do your research of all other decks' weaknesses so that way that you can compensate for those struggles. But that is why I think that anti-meta is in the third spot, because the deck is dirt cheap. Depending on what version that you want, you can get most of the cards in there for under $1 easily. Now, number 2, it's going to be Mimigools. I'm putting Mimigools above anti-meta mainly because it has a better chance to succeed than anti-meta. Sure, anti-meta overall is going to cost you less than Mimigools, But Mimic Ghoul's success rate versus the budget is always going to be superior. Because sure, the field spell is going to be like $10, $15 a copy, but that's going to be the most expensive thing in the deck. The extra deck monsters, not really that bad. The secret rare one, I think, is going to be $5 or $6 a copy, but you only need 2 of them at most. You know, Master, $2 a copy. Everything else in the deck, under $1, I believe. Last I checked. But yeah, most of your budget is going to go into the extra deck, or probably even the side deck, depending on what route you want to go with it. But I believe that anti-meta, sure, is, like I said, it's cheaper, but the success rate isn't as great as Mimic Ghouls, if I'm being honest. The only reason why I haven't picked the deck up myself is because my own personal reasons in terms of finances. I'm getting to the point to where I will be able to make the deck as well as others to provide you guys more content. But as of right now, still trying to figure out a few things, but I'm not going to get into those. But yeah, Mimic Ghouls, number 2 spot, hands down. And the number 1 spot, I'm putting Tempes here. Forget the new Maxi cards, forget the mulch armies, forget all of those basically. What is this deck's main win rate in terms of its budget? It's absolutely insane. In terms of how often this deck wins or is able to win versus its dead hands, is pretty great. And the most expensive card is going to be the Pydra Tempe Dragon, which is $11, $12 a copy. But everything else is common. The only other super rare in the deck is the Transcendent Dragon in the extra deck. But you only need 1 or even 2 copies of that, And even then, it's dirt cheap. The only expensive things that are going to be in the deck are going to be some of the going second board breaker cards, but again, they have cheaper options of those. So again, what are you really breaking your bank over for in this deck? If I had to make a guess, it would probably be the Bysteel if you want to run that. It would probably have to be, I can't really think anything off the top of my head if there's something in this deck that really breaks the bank. Sure, it used to with the Trident Dragion in the extra deck, but it got reprinted. And even then, it got reprinted, and sure, it's $6 a copy. Oh, one other thing is the Rengoku Tempe Dragon. Can't believe I forgot that one. Sure, even that, it's like $6, $7 a copy, but you only need 2 of them. So with the most expensive cards in the deck combined together, that's maybe like 50, 60. Let's say the worst and say it's $80. You can basically make the rest of the deck for 20 and under. Let's be honest. Unless you have and I'm assuming that you already have some of the other board breaker cards like Raigeki, like Dark Hole, like Forbidden Droplets. I mean, by now you should have been able to pick up those cards because they've gotten reprinted into Oblivion. But I'm not here to make assumptions. I'm just here to give you the facts, and the facts say that Tempe Dragons are one of the best budget decks that is readily available to the market in terms of its success rate. And if you guys can't tell, it's the deck that I took to YCS Anaheim, which I'm probably at the time that this video goes up. So if you're in the area, find us and say hi. But that's beside the point. But yeah, Tempe Dragons, number 1 budget deck of the upcoming format. But guys, that is the new video for top 5 budget decks of the new format. If you guys like these videos, please let us know in the comments. If you have any ideas for any future videos, please let us know those too. And if you guys like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell down below for notifications, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.